and welcome to Mathspedia, a math learning hub, and I am Meena, your math guide. As we have already started chapter number 14, statistics of class 9th, and today we will learn frequency polygon. Now what is a frequency polygon? Let's see. Let x1, x2, x3, xn be the class marks, that is the midpoints of the given frequency distribution, and let f1, f2, f3, dash dash fn be the corresponding frequencies. Now we plot the points x1, f1, x2, f2, x3, f3 and dash dash xn, fn on a graph paper and join these points by line segments. You have learned such graphs in chapter number 3 and 4. So we complete the diagram in the form of a polygon by taking two more classes, that is imagined classes, one at the beginning and the other at the end. And this way the polygon, that closed figure what is formed, is known as the frequency polygon of the given frequency distribution. Here we are given a frequency distribution table, and as you can see, the table, the data is non-continuous, it is discontinuous, inclusive form. So first of all, to draw a frequency polygon, we need to convert it into continuous form, that means exclusive one. So the first class will be 30.5 to 35.5 and last will be 70.5 to 75.5. And these are the frequencies, number of students. First of all, we will draw a histogram, and then after we will mark the midpoints of the bars, that means the rectangles. As you can see, the first bar, that means from 30.5 to 35.5, the midpoint we have marked, it is something 33, right? Similarly, we have marked all the midpoints of all the rectangles till last rectangle, and we have named them like B, C, D, E, F and G. Then as we said, we have to take two imagined classes. The preceding class of this 30.5 to 35.5 will be 25.5 to 30.5. Same with the succeeding class of 55.5 to 60.5 will be 60.5 to 65.5. And we have taken the midpoints as A and H with frequency 0. Because we are not given the frequency for these two classes, so frequency is 0. Since y coordinate is 0, so we can locate these 2 points on x-axis, right? Now we will join this A and B and similarly G and H. This way we have got a polygon, closed figure, and this is nothing but a frequency polygon. Now if you notice, the area of this histogram is equal to the area of this frequency polygon. How? For that, we have to use the properties of congruent triangles. What are congruent triangles? You know, when the sides are equal, angles are equal, obviously the area will be equal. So how can the area of this histogram be equal to the area of frequency polygon, wherein I am not including these portions of the rectangles? If you see, that is what here the property of congruent triangles will be relevant. If you notice, we are excluding this part of the bar, right? This is, but same time we are taking this part which is actually not the part of a histogram. If you notice, this triangle is congruent to this triangle. So in a way I am including this instead of this. This triangle I am excluding, but at the same time I am taking this triangle. Similarly, this is included, this is excluded. So this way the properties of congruent triangles will be useful here, and you can say that the areas of both the graphs, that means the histogram and the frequency polygon, is equal. I hope this is clear to you. Now let's move to one more graph wherein the first class itself is starting with 0. So in that case, what will we do? Let's see. Here as you can see, the class intervals, they are continuous form, that means exclusive, so we need not to change them, but they start from 0. So now the preceding class to 0 to 10 will be in the negative direction of the x-axis, right? So it will be minus 10 to 0. whereas this will be on the positive only, 90 to 100, so it will be 100 to 110, right? And these are the frequencies. Here is the histogram for this data. On y-axis we have taken frequency, number of students, on x it is marks, but the preceding class is minus 10 to 0 and the succeeding one is 100 to 110, and that way the midpoint is here minus 5 in a negative direction of the x-axis because the frequency is 0, and here the midpoint is 105. It is again on x-axis because frequency is 0. And similarly we have taken the midpoints of each rectangle. We have marked them as B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Now in the NCERT book they say that where this line segment like B to this point like minus 5, wherever it intersects y-axis, there you have to mark as A, and that way your polygon, frequency polygon, will be O, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. Whereas we think like if we place A here, if we locate A here, then in that case the areas will be same of the histogram and of the frequency polygon, because we will include this triangle because we are not considering this triangle. But if we start the polygon from OA, if I locate A here, that means this much area will be less for the frequency polygon, right? So we need to locate A, point A here on x-axis. And since y is 0, right, and x coordinate is minus 5, so that way also the point should be located here on x-axis in the negative direction, right? Let's move to one more question, one more example. In a city, the weekly observations made in a study on the cost of living index are given in the following table, right? This is cost of living index, number of weeks, that means frequencies. As you can see, it is again continuous, means exclusive one, so we need not to change them. Now here the question arises, to draw a frequency polygon I need to draw a histogram first, then I have to locate, I have to mark the midpoints, and then I have to join the points to draw a frequency polygon. It's a bit lengthy process, right? So without that also, without drawing a histogram also, you can draw directly a frequency polygon. For that you need to find out the class marks, that means midpoints of each interval. And how to find the class marks? You need to add the lower limit and upper limit of each class and divide it by 2, and then those class marks we will write on the x-axis. Here it is done. As you can see, classes, frequency and class marks. I told you I can show it to you also how to find the class marks. I am just writing as CM is equals to lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2, and in the first case the lower limit is 140 plus 150 divided by 2, and 140 and 150 will be 290, and half of 290 will be 145. So you can see it is 145. Now since the class size, that means the class width is 10 and it is uniform, so I can simply add 10 to each class mark to get the next class mark. Like for example, 145 plus 10, 155, then 165, 175. Now these class marks are taken on x-axis, frequency, that means number of weeks, on y-axis, and that way if you see my class mark starts with 145. It starts from 145, but we have taken one imagined class mark before, that is 135, and one after, that is 205. So for 135, since frequency is 0, so we have marked the point A on x-axis and H also on x-axis, and this way for 145 the frequency is 5, then 155 the frequency is 10. So that way we have joined all the points and drawn a frequency polygon, right? I hope you are familiar with kink now, because we are not showing the initial class marks, we are directly starting with 135, so we have to show this broken line kink. Now we will solve two questions which are remaining from exercise 14.3. They are question number 6 and 7. Let's see the first one. The following table gives the distribution of students of two sections according to the marks obtained by them. Section A and Section B. These are the marks and they are in the interval form 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 and 40 to 50. And as you can see, same class intervals and they are continuous form, so we need not to change them. And these are the frequencies, total number of students, they are 50, right? And frequency of class A and frequency of class B. Now here what we will do is, first of all let's read the question. Represent the marks of the students of both the sections on the same graph paper by two frequency polygons. So we have to use one graph paper and we have to show both the polygons on the same paper. Now from the two polygons, compare the performance of the two sections. In the table what I'll do is, I'll write this for once because since they both are same, right? Then second column will be our class marks, third column will be frequencies of both the classes, both the sections. It is over here. As you can see, our class marks, actually our intervals, they start with 0 to 10, right? Now the preceding class of 0 to 10 will be minus 10 to 0. Similarly, succeeding class of 40 to 50 is 50 to 60, right? I have shown them also in the table, and since the frequency is 0 for them, I have written 0 here to 0, and class mark will be minus 5, half of 10, 5, this is total is 30, so half of 30 will be 15. Otherwise also, as you can see, the size is 10, so simply add 10 to each class mark, you will get the next class mark, right? So 15, 25, 35, 45, 55, and these are the number of students, that means frequencies, section A, section B. Now on x-axis I will show these class marks, on y-axis I will show the frequencies, and accordingly I will select the scale. So name of the graph I have given as marks obtained by students. On x-axis I have written class marks, that means marks, y-axis number of students, that means frequency, and the scale is taken as x-axis 1 unit is equals to 5 marks. See, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Y-axis I have taken 1 unit is equals to 2 students because my graph paper is small. You can take 1 unit is equals to 1 student, that will be more convenient to you. Now I have taken two different colors to show the performance of, or say the polygon of both the classes, both the sections. Now as you can see, minus 5 and frequency is 0, so it will be marked here, and this is for both the frequency polygons same. This point is same, minus 5, comma 0, and this point is same for both the frequency polygons, G 55, comma 0. Now this black line shows the performance of section A and this pink is for section B. You simply have to see for 5 marks they have 3 students, section A, and for section B it is they have 5 students. So that way you will just mark the points and then after you will join them by the line segments, right? Now the question is, you have to compare the performance of the students on the basis of these graphs. If you count these 3 numbers 17, 12 and 9, so from 25 to 50 the number of students are more in section A than section B. So you can say that the performance of section A is better than section B. Clear? Now next question, question number 7 is the runs scored by two teams A and B on the first 60 balls in a cricket match are given below. Same, you are given number of balls, that means class intervals, then team A, team B frequencies, but here the class intervals are not continuous, they are inclusive form. So first we need to convert them into exclusive form and then we will write the class marks. Here it is written, represent the data of both the teams on the same graph paper by frequency polygons, like we did in the previous question, but hint is given to you. First make the class intervals continuous. So here is the table with us. The first class we had was 1 to 6. So that way it is 0.5 to 6.5, 6.5 to 12.5. See, here I am not showing the class preceding this class. But we have to show it on the graph, right? Class mark for this is 3.5. Class size is 6, so you just add 6 to this class mark and you will get the next class mark. So 3.5 plus 6 gives you 9.5. Similarly, 9.5 plus 6 gives you 15.5, and that way you will find the class marks. And these are the number of runs, that means frequency of team A and team B. Now we will write class marks on x-axis and frequency on y-axis, and accordingly we will select the scale. Let's see. Runs scored by team A and team B. Let's see, we have named y-axis as number of runs, that means frequency, class marks, that means number of balls on x-axis, and x-axis 1 unit is equals to 6 balls because class size is 6, right? And here for y-axis 1 unit is equals to 1 run, as you can see. Now 3.5 is our first class mark, and before that the imagined class mark is minus 2.5, and succeeding class mark of 57.5 is 63.5. So this point A minus 2.5 comma 0 and point L, that means 63.5 comma 0 will be common for both the polygons since the frequency is 0 for both of them, right? Now for 3.5 balls, this black one is the performance, the graph for team A, and green is the graph for team B, right? Now for 3.5 balls, team A scored 2 runs and team B scored 5 runs, as you can see in the table. Team A 2 runs and team B 5 runs. Similarly for 9.5 balls, team A scored 1 and B 6 runs. 9.5, team A 1 and B got 6 runs, right? So this way you will mark the points and you will name them differently, like I have named it for team A, B, C, D, E, etc. and for team B I have named them as P, Q, R, S, etc. Then you connect these points by the line segments and then you will find the 2 polygons like this. Hope it is clear to you, and if you have any doubts you can ask me in the comment box. Do comment and tell me how do you find my videos, and in the next video we will see central tendencies, right? Until then, take care, bye bye. Thank you for watching. Do like and share the video and subscribe the channel.